All right, first and foremost, give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his son, the Hamashiach, who we know as Yeshua, Yahushua, Yehoshua, but mostly as Jesus Christ. Um, seems there's a schism, seems there's a split within the Hebrew camp, the Israelite camp rather. Sakari, they're probably the most influential. I say they are, in my opinion, that they are the most influential camp in Israelites. I have seen their doctrine spread, a problematic doctrine that I feel is probably one of the most problematic doctrines in Israel. I've seen it spread to a lot of the elder camps where they're not they have lost reverence for the epistles of Paul. They don't deal with Hebrews. They pretty much have become Old Testament Israelites. They still talking about we should be sacrificing. They don't believe in eternity, eternal life and immortality. Just problematic doctrine, problem at the problem, and nobody loves them enough to correct them. Nobody wants to correct these brothers except me. And GMS. GMS definitely be on those brothers' neck because that group is a schism from GMS. And GMS is a schism or a split from One West. When they was talking about that problematic doctrine of the year 2000, everything is going to be destroyed and nuclear war is going to hit here in the 2000s, and so all these, once the 2000s hit, nothing happened. Brothers had sold their houses, all kinds of craziness, and that's how you get the IUIC and the House of Israel with Zabak, and a lot of these people were underlings. They were lower level people within the One West and General Yohana in ISUBK, who later picked it up. They were lower tier. They were lower level people in that organization. And went out when they got their chance. They went out and they did their own thing. And then schisms and splits have happened from there. And this is why we have so many different camps out here teaching now. And the splits are continuing to happen. I'm sure if this thing is what this brother Hasad is saying it is, and he really did leave this organization, I'm sure people will leave and cling to him. And this is on the same level as Pastor Dow and Elder Rufus. Shout out to Elder Rufus. He sent some people over here, sent some subscribers over here, said some good words, man, about even though, we were going over the situation, he still seen that, what I was doing was sincere. So I commend the brother on that. And anytime, anybody, if y'all want to use, I'm not one of those people, man. I don't, you ain't got to credit me with all this stuff. All credit goes to the Most High. I'm just a vessel. I'm nobody. I know nothing. But if you can gain something from it and you can teach it, go teach it. Go teach it. If it was good enough for you and valuable enough for you to teach it, man, teach it. You ain't got to say where you got it from, because all of it comes from the Spirit. Anyway. This is on that level. Okay. These brothers were connected hip to hip, living together in some situations, traveling everywhere together. Where you seen the chief priest, Alazar, Gorilla Hebrew, you seen Hasad. And we're gonna let this thing play, but I know a lot of people, a lot of the newer subscribers that we've gotten over the last couple months, you might not be familiar with, the camp, the inside of the camp. You may just be familiar with what you see on the outside. And what you see on the outside is not a good representation. A lot of that is based off of what people want to see. People like to see the Israelites out there yelling at people, and then people like to hate it. So the more we give it attention, the more Israelites are going to do it. No matter how you correct them on it, no matter how you kind of, and I'm trying to get us away from that, but and there's an awakening happen within that. Not just me, not just this body, even the body that I'm in, we're still trying to navigate. I done had my road to the masses. I done shifted away from that one West ideology, that camp theology. I done kind of came out of that. And everybody I know within the walk, I've had to sit down and try to navigate them out of that. But it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing because all of us are teachers. We all know doctrine. And so we're having to sit down and question these things. And that's one of the benefits of, because we were a lower tier camp, I've seen all the doctrines come trickling in. When the schism happens from one of those major camps, they would come to a smaller camp like Prince of Power and say, hey, man, I ain't know you. They may see us in the inner city because we didn't go to like in the middle of Atlanta. We usually be in Decatur and, Candler Road, Stone Mountain. We be posting up in little areas in front of Quick Trip, stuff like that. Not the inner city, but more of metro Atlanta. So when they see us and they done left other groups, they come in and had that doctrine, and we had to go through that. And so I've gone through this time and time again. Then, we end up joining the body with another body, and we still trying to put that thing in the washing machine and trying to get us on one accord, especially before we go back out and go on the highways and byways and start back teaching again in that manner. But I think there's a great shift in happening within an ideology. And Sakari is one of these groups that they have shifted their doctrine because of the problems with what they were teaching. And they've gotten to the point where they just had to throw away Paul's epistles. A lot of the people that want to say only Israel can be saved, they've seen issues within that doctrine, and the only way to kind of hold on to it is to just throw away Paul's epistles, throw away the book of Hebrews, don't really deal with Acts. And that's what I see, in my opinion. That's what I see that they've done with that, with their understanding. I have debated them on salvation for Gentiles a few years ago. We'll look at a clip from that because that's going to help us with the body language. And I said it before, I said it, you're going to see in this video. I said it a couple years ago that this brother had a certain body language that was showing that a schism was brewing. We're going to go to YouTube here, and we're going to go to where he announces Hasad, brother Hasad, and I don't know where he's going. He just did this, 4 hours ago. So I can't even recommend you to his page, because their doctrine is just the worst. It's worse than prosperity gospel to me. Like it's worse than the church. Like it's terrible. And all of this was to cover. I think it got that way just to cover and deal with some pre-notions that they have, man. It's so much I can go on and on and on. And if you go down my video list, Sakari is most of the people that I rebuke doctrinally. It's never personal. It's just doctrine. It's just doctrine. I don't agree with your doctrine. Hey, this is what I'm you know what I'm saying. But brothers get offended by that because, you know, it may tear them down or something. It may bring them down. You know, I don't, you know, it's just ego stuff. But we gonna get into it. We gonna let this stay. It's only 10-minute video, so we'll just play the whole thing. Fair use, fair use. We probably still get hit with a copyright, but whatever.
First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose true name in Hebrew is Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten Son, who the world calls Jesus Christ. Your real name is Yahweh Shai. This is your brother Assad, and this is not a clickbait video. It's not a joke. None of that. The title of this video is true. I'm no longer a member of Sakari. And before I even start with it saying anything, I have nothing but love for every member of Sakari. There's not a bitterness that I have. I don't hate none of them brothers.
And let me say this. It's something about that initial split. Like when it first happens, you want to leave the door open, you know, and this is what this video seems like to me. Like, you know, Hasad is leaving that door open for reconciliation. You know, they reconcile, all praises. And maybe they come to a point where they I had to charge this laptop up. They come to a point where they're in agreement, and hopefully it's something doctrinal. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully it's just a doctrinal issue, and they can come to grips with it and then continue on, and then maybe even deal with some other stuff doctrinally, because they a mess, man. Let me let this thing continue.
I don't hate Alazar. If I got $1, Alazar got 50 cents. If his kids ever need anything, Uncle Assad is always going to be here. I love that brother to death, literally. So any of you guys that don't like Alazar, they're going to come and try to support me now. No, you can still stay over there. You know what I mean? Alazar's my brother. That's my big brother that I never had.
Alazar to the camps. Alazar is Pastor Dow. There's a lot of people that just, man, if you just say, man, I had put up a video today, man, in on my Facebook page, and showing that because this brother is so influential, I was showing some other camp leaders that, hey, this brother even said the same thing, that, you know, you may not want to hear it from me because I'm you know, who am I? Who is Brother Phoenix? You know, but you may want to hear from him, and you may have more reverence and respect for him. Man, I put that video up there, Joker's up there. Man, yeah, that darn Mamzer 12 chart is trash. He know it's trash. Hate that Joker. You know, it's a lot of people that have a certain hatred for that brother. And yeah, you know, they've done some things, man. We'll talk a little on it.
And I'm gonna love that brother forever. You know what I mean? There's no sins that were involved. This is not no like scandal where somebody committed adultery, or, you know what I mean? There's nothing crazy like that. What it simply boils down to is there's a disagreement. You know, certain words may be exchanged between brothers, and unfortunately, as a result, I'm no longer a member of the organization.
What do y'all make of that? Certain, again, we're just speculating. Y'all don't take us serious. Don't, you know. And for some reason, he got a lot of comments. I don't see no Sakari members really commenting here. And that makes me feel a kind of way. Also is that I don't see Sakari brothers here. But anyway, you know, we told you that 2024, man. But he said it wasn't. It's just a disagreement, and brothers exchange words a certain. And I told you they kind of younger, and they deal with a lot of for a lack of words, niggotry. Okay, they deal with a lot of that, and they talk to each other like that with that poison, with that venom. Where y'all really, if you're like that, you shouldn't even be around each other, because it's gonna be venom. That's why the clubs get shot up. That's why any gathering of so-called Negroes coming together usually ends hazardous, because we have venom within us that's built up. And when you get a lot of those different chemicals together, it causes a chemical reaction that involves violence, that equates to violence. So I'm thinking, maybe an argument broke out over something. I've talked to a couple of brothers. A couple of brothers reached out to me. They kind of both seem that it's doctrinal. But from that last little point there, let's see here.
There's no sins that were involved. This is not no like scandal where somebody committed adultery, or you know what I mean. There's nothing crazy like that. What it simply boils down to is there's a disagreement. Certain words may be exchanged between brothers, and unfortunately, as a result, I'm no longer a member of the organization. And these things, while again they are unfortunate, they do happen.
Maybe he said something, and as a result, he's no longer a member, meaning he got kicked out. Maybe he tried to tell, and this again, this is very similar, where Elder Rufus tried to say something, tried to give some correction, and it wasn't received well. Or I'm not gonna say that. It was some other stuff. It was some other stuff in there that people were feeling some kind of way. I think Elder was saying he was feeling a little way. There was some messages being said, and hey man, are you talking about me? Da 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 da. And words got exchanged. But it ultimately comes down to, who are you to tell me something? Who are you to tell me something? And that actually happened to me today. Actually, with another Israelite brother. But we gonna get into it. We gonna get into it.
See it happening in the scriptures, and I'll touch on it here in a second. But the first scripture that I want to get is one that we are all very familiar with. This is Romans 8:28. It says, "And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose." So while it's an unfortunate situation, and I don't like it, anybody that's involved in it doesn't like it. It's not fun, to say the least. But what we have to do is look at the good that can come from it, because all things are going to work for the good of those who love God and are the called according to his purpose. I love God. I know Alizar loves the Most High. And so while, again, the situation is unfortunate, we have to now move on and find out what it is that the Heavenly Father wants us to do for the benefit of both parties involved, which is ultimately bringing about the kingdom of heaven on earth. All things work for the good of those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. So these things, again, I'm gonna keep saying it. It's like, this is not fun for me. I don't enjoy this. This is like one of the worst days in Hasad's life, seriously. But there is some good that has to come from it.
This is like one of the worst days of his life. I think he got kicked out. I think he overstepped. He tried to eat off the big dog plate, and it was just bad timing for him to say something. He ended up getting put out. I think it can be reconciled, and I think he's leaving the door for reconciliation, but it's like that on the first couple of days, man. You wanna kind of leave that thing open them first couple of days. You want to leave that door open.
And that's on both sides. There's good that has to come from it, and hopefully we can all find the good that is, the Most High wants us to come from this situation. And again, I made a mention just a little earlier that we see these things happening in the scriptures. So I want to get another one. Speaking of that, I was the one that taught me how to share the damn screen thing, and I just forgot it. This is Ecclesiastes 3:1. Before I read this, I want to reiterate it, and I know I'm kind of going all over the place. Alazar is my brother. You know what I mean? Every person in Sicarii is my brother. There are a lot of haters that have sat back, and I've listened to it over the years, who have whispered in my ear, "You need to leave. You should leave. You should do your own camp." I'm not.
You know why, Hasad? You know why people whispered in your ear? Because they seen that you had a different spirit in you. We seen that you were being influenced, that wasn't you. That you wasn't operating in your spirit, your God-given spirit. That we seen more, that you had more potential. You know, and sometimes that's not haters. Sometimes that's the Lord. Sometimes that's Yahweh sending those people there to tell you something, to whisper in you. It's not, sometimes it ain't hatred, brother. I've had to look back at certain things. I'm like, man, he was trying to tell me. You know, but I ignored a lot of the signs. I ignored a lot of things because I was in my pride. I was prideful. But a lot of people, I've even seen you debate, like even Elder Mike, he was like, well, I know that young brother has some potential. You know, but he needs to get away from those other influences. Just like, you know, it's like, you know, like every good kid. We know that you was a good kid, that you was raised right. You have certain mannerisms. You have a certain meekness about you that brothers see you shouldn't be around these other brothers. That's, you know, in their opinion. That's how they feel about it. You shouldn't be around them. They're a bad influence for you. And they telling you that you should start your own. And now you have this schism, and this is what happens when you don't listen to the Spirit. Sometimes the Lord had to rip you from that situation. And now you get ripped from the situation. Now you're bleeding. Now you're bleeding out. Now your funds low. Now it was the wrong time. Now you got to get your house situated. Now you got to get your living. Now you got to try to find a job out of nowhere. Because when he was trying to tell you, hey, man, go ahead and get up out of there. Hey, man, go ahead and get up. You don't listen. And then the Lord, if you his, he end up snatching you away from. That's why I just jump. Nah, man, I be jumping. Them things start going sour. I said, oh, man, I got to let go. I gonna jump and get on out of there and deal with what I gotta deal with. Now my brain operates on worst case scenario first. All right, the problem comes in. What's the worst case scenario? Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, I'm able to deal with that. All right, it's not a big deal. We'll get it done. But I'm not gonna keep fighting. I'm not gonna keep fighting against the Lord. And people ain't hating. You think people are hating. People are not hating. People sincerely care about you. Trying to tell you, hey, man, it's not this group is not a good look for you. They ain't telling everybody that. They not telling Deacon Hakah that. They're not telling Captain Taz that. They're not telling the brother over Sakari Dallas, the brother over Sakari Miami. And they may need to tell those brothers, because I think them sincere brothers down there in Miami, they just lost in the sauce. They telling you that because they see that you're different. You're not like them, even though you're not like them. But I'm
not gonna be cool with you. I don't like y'all. You understand? Like, you not.
And you still against it.
Not liking, I don't like you. I do not like y'all guys. I was always like I was saying, that's my brother. If he walked up to the door, knocked on the door right now, he's gonna come in, we're gonna hang out. I was just with the brother. You know what I mean? I have no ill will towards him in any capacity. I wish nothing but the best for Alazar. And when people say I wish nothing but the best, it's always like people leaving on really bad terms and they're never cool with that person again. But I say that like sincerely.
And you know that, yeah. Kind of said it like a lot of times when people say that is they don't mean it sincerely. But I pray you do, brother. And again, I don't even, they could be back together tomorrow. Who knows? I'm not gonna say that this is clickbait because the brother said it wasn't clickbait. I gotta take the brother for his word. But for people that know, it's kind of hard to believe that it's come to this point with those two brothers. Like that could, and then you're saying, well, it ain't sin, and it's probably not. I believe them. I don't think sin to let a brother leave. Not those brothers. And I don't think it's doctrine either, to be honest, man. That's my opinion. I don't think it's doctrine, but most are leading to believe that it's doctrine.
Like, I love that brother. Y'all know, like, I lived with Alazar for years. Like, his kids is like, again, like my nieces and nephews. I have nothing but love for chief, captain, deacon, everybody. Literally, everybody there is my brother. I'll die and kill for every single one of those brothers. So I don't want people that watch this video to try to now fake support me off of the hate that you have for Alazar. I don't like you. So you can hate us both, actually. Anyway, this is Ecclesiastes 3.
I don't like you. He just fighting it. I don't,
1. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Meaning the Most High doesn't do things without reason. There's a purpose behind everything. And it goes on to say that there's a time to be born, a time to die, a time to cast away, and a time to bring back. So just like what happened at One West, where there was a major split that took place, and I'm sure the people that were involved in it at that time found it to be unfortunate. But look what sprang from it. Alazar and myself wouldn't be in the truth had that split. We probably wouldn't be in the truth had that split not taken place, because from that split, thousands of brothers came into the truth through the various camps that came from the split. So again, it's not fun, but maybe this is something that the Most High is having happen to further his truth. If that's the case, then it is what it is. Now I want to get the example in the scripture right here. Now look at this. This is Acts 15, and I'll start at verse 37. I'll get to the point. And Barnabas determined to take with them John, whose surname was Mark. But Paul thought not good to take with them. So Barnabas wants to bring this guy Mark. Paul doesn't. So they're at odds. It says, who departed from them from Pamphylia and went not with them to the work.
Fair use.
And
fair
the contention
use.
was so sharp between them. So they had a contention, they had an argument. Words were said, words were exchanged, that they departed asunder one from the other. And so Barnabas took Mark and they sailed to Cyprus. Now I go here to illustrate that contentions and separations take place in the Bible, even between.
And it's funny that he used that particular verse, that it was probably some words exchanged that got out of hand. And again, that's how, go watch my video with on cursing, man. It's cursing a sin. But there are words that are just untimely, unruly, and that's why the text tell you not to be dealing with jesting. And it's he's using this example of Paul and Barnabas where they were cut, they split ways after some harsh words were said, and it's come down to Mark. Mark left. Mark didn't keep on going with him. He ended up going back. Paul like, man, I don't want that joker coming back with me. I think he's Barnabas' cousin. Like, man, I ain't taking that joker this time, man. Last time that joker left on us, and I ain't. No, he ain't coming this time, man. But he's using it to talk about some sharp words. So again, I think they got into an argument, and then it ended up with, man, you no longer in Sakari, man. You ain't in Sakari no more. You know, yeah, just get on up out of here, woody woo. We gonna give you a year off, or 3 months out of Sakari, and then maybe the brother pops back in. With this particular group,
two of the top human beings on the planet Earth, Barnabas and Paul at that point.
He said two of the top human beings on the earth. And if you know about these brothers and how they talk about Paul, you just be like, wait a minute, man. Y'all don't even think Paul is authoritative. Jokers think Paul made mistakes and was teaching wrong. That he had to get corrected. Now he's saying these the two top brothers on the earth at this moment. That's crazy.
That's such a sharp disagreement that they said, you know what? I'll go this way, you go that way. Now, I want to show y'all this, and I want to show the relevance in that, not just showing that example, but look at this right here. So that's Acts 15. And when you look at the Bible timeline, that takes place somewhere around 49-ish AD, right? You look right here. It's around Acts 15, somewhere around 49-ish AD, maybe a little bit later. And then Paul writes 1 Corinthians around 5, give or take, years later. Now, why does that matter? Because in 1 Corinthians 9, I'll just get to the point, verse 5, it says, have we not power to lead about a sister, a wife, as well as other apostles, and as the brethren of the Lord, and Cephas being Peter? So he's talking about believers, apostles, top believers and workers for the ministry. Then he says in verse 6, or I only and Barnabas, have not we power to forbear working? Now, why do I bring this up? Because Paul still, even in his writings, after having a disagreement with Barnabas, is still acknowledging him as a worker, as a believer, as someone who's doing work for the Most High in his kingdom. So despite the fact that they have a disagreement, Paul is still writing and talking about Barnabas in a positive light. In the same way, I will always continue to talk about Alazar in a positive light. That's my big brother. That's a brother who has taught me a lot, not just about the Bible, but about life. I wouldn't be the man that I am if I had not met Alazar. So a lot of the stuff and good qualities that you see in me, I wouldn't have except for Alazar. That's me saying.
I don't know if I mixed that up or he mixed that up with that Paul Barnabas situation. I have to go back and look at that. I'm sorry. Let me go back and make sure. Was that Acts? What was that? Acts
ministry. Then not just showing that example, but look at this right here. So that's Acts 15. And when you look at the Bible timeline, that takes place somewhere around 49-ish AD, right? You look right here. It's around Acts 15, somewhere around 49-ish AD, maybe a little bit later. And then Paul writes 1 Corinthians around 5, give or take, years later. Now, why does that matter? Because in 1 Corinthians 9, I'll just get to the point, verse 5, it says, have we not power to lead about a sister, a wife, as well as other apostles, and as the brethren of the Lord, and Cephas being Peter? So he's talking about believers, apostles, top believers and workers for the ministry.
Oh man!
Wow!
I hit the wrong
just
button,
built
y'all.
the most amazing workflow.
Time to help people.
What in the world is that?
Customize and save with Liberty Mutual. Forgot my wallet.
Apologies, y'all. Set us back. Oh Lord, no.
Comfortable to set up his offense.
First and foremost, I want to give all.
Okay. All right, we back, y'all. My bad. But yeah, they did have a beef. I just wanted to make sure I cleared that up. They did have a beef. And they, Paul didn't want to take Mark, and Barnabas and Mark were cousins, so they went together, and then Paul went with Silas. I just wanted to make sure I didn't mix that up.
Debate side by side. And guess what? I look forward into the future, Lord willing, that can continue. But as of right now, he's going to be there over there. I'm going to be over here. And I would love for, eventually one day we meet back up right here, But as of right now, that's not the case. But again, that's my brother, and it will always be so. Anybody that wants to come on here fake supporting me because you don't like Alazar, I'm going to see right through it. I'm not an idiot. You know what I mean? Alazar is a smart dude, and he got smart niggas around him and built me up and helping me make me a smart brother. So I'm going to see right through that BS. And I don't like people like that. I don't like fake stuff. So you can keep it over there. I got one more scripture. This is Sirach 39:16 in the Good News Translation. It says, all that the Lord has done is very good. All that he commands is sooner or later done. No one should ask why things are as they are. These questions will be answered at the right time. And that just goes right back to Romans 8:28, that all things work for the good of those who love God.
I don't know why I do a video and you just not going to just say what it is. If it is what it is, just say what it is. Y'all had a disagreement about what? I'm sure he'll address it. I'm sure he will address it, but it may be some of the same stuff. I don't know. But again, brothers think it's doctrinal. I think, brothers just end up having some words and some egos got involved, some pride got involved. Brothers probably got face to face squared off. Yeah, bro, just like, man, listen, man, you gotta get up out of Sakari, man. You no longer a member, woody woo, something like that. I don't know. I do want to show y'all another clip here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show you something else first. I'm gonna show you some. I did a video rebuking elder that was in Sons of Thunder on Romans 11. I mean, this is what he put on my page on YouTube. I mean, on Facebook. He says, you know me in real life, and instead of coming by camp or addressing me personally, you made that weak blank YouTube video. Come on, brother. It's too late in the day to be this corny. And your exegesis was boo-boo. I'm a competitor. I live for this. And this is another brother that used to, I don't know if he's still with the brother or not, but I don't really be seeing him out there at camps like that no more. But man, I literally commented about a week or two ago on a post he had put up about disagreement and put into open shame. So brothers got a problem with me I guess they feel like I'm putting them to shame when I have videos of doctrinal disagreements. You see, there's no correction here about the video. Like where's the disagreement with the video? This is more about, man, I didn't like that you put me to shame, and if I even how did I do that? When I don't get it, man. I try to get it with brothers, but this really the part that I want y'all to see here. Hold on. This is really the one y'all need to see. Is that last comment that the brother made. He says, remember, he came to camp and was reading for me at the very beginning. So over 10 years ago, he's telling the brother, you remember when we first got together? Because when we first started our camp, we was a shadow camp. We didn't really want to be a camp, but we would support other camps. And while he was building a camp for another organization, we came there for support. And and it was only him and that other brother right there. And it was about 7 of us in Prince of Power. And he's saying that I was just a reader. And basically what this is how can you correct me when you was just a reader for me when you started? Boy, I raised you, boy. You were just a reader. What you doing trying to correct my doctrine? What you doing? Trying to say I got a demon on me? Boy, I raised you. It's the same spirit, y'all. This just flesh. And the same thing happened throughout church history with the Reformation and the Protestants and the schisms and the what they call it, the breaking away, the splitting away, parting ways. The parting ways movement, them getting away initially from the Jews. It all comes down to that, just questioning authority. And when authorities are questioned, a lot of people die. Especially in the early church days, when you question the church, you question the authority of certain popes and so forth, people were dying. And that flesh is still the same today, where if you question that authority, that authority will want to take you out, will want to make an example out of you. But me personally, I've never been, we started an organization. And so I don't have that. I'm not one of them people that I need that reverence like that. I don't need to be in no authoritative position. I want to teach brothers to teach. I want to lead brothers to be leaders. I want brothers to be in front of the king. I don't want to be the only one in front of the king. The brothers could get up here and talk. How many times I done tried to get brothers to, hey man, you need to do some videos. You need to get on the camera. Hey man, you need to start teaching. I don't want to be the only one teaching. But too, I had to, like some of the verses that I was bringing out. All of these things are for a purpose. Maybe it was just me that needed to learn at that moment. That's how I look back at that. Like, it was just me that needed to be getting fed. It was just me that needed to eat right that moment. I wasn't ready to lead them brothers. I wasn't ready to make them, no. Yeah, you need to do all the lessons. Brother said, man, I'm going to teach Wednesday. Another brother said, I'm going to teach Monday. Another brother said, then I was like, well, I'll teach on Friday night, And I end up having brothers didn't teach one of them, not even one. And I end up having to teach. I thought I was working 3 jobs at that point, man. And I was teaching, on top of that, teaching Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then sometimes I was being there teaching by myself. Nobody even show up. I needed those lessons. I got over 200 PowerPoint presentations, 300 PowerPoint presentations, doing these lessons after lesson after lesson after lesson after lesson after lesson. But it was for a purpose. It was drilling something. It was drilling to understand. It was drilling a certain discipline in me. That's still being drilled. I'm still being worked. I'm still on the potter's table. I'm still being molded into that vessel that can mold other vessels, and that can navigate and get other vessels to where they need to be spiritually. And so that's how I look back on that. Like, it wasn't for no reason. I wasn't teaching them lessons for no reason. I wasn't doing these things for even this video. It's not for naught. Like, it's something's gonna come out of it. That's good. That we, he started off with the Romans 3:28. All things work out for the good of the Lord. I want to show y'all this other video here too. Let me stop sharing my screen here. Is that how we do that? Yeah, that's how we do that. Hold on, we transition in. Bring in that media source. Now, this is a video that this is a video from a debate. Well, I did a debate with those brothers on salvation for Gentiles. Because them, like a lot of other camps, they only believe salvation comes, only Israelites can be saved. That the other nations can't be saved. I was debating them on this. It was end up turning to a debate. It's supposed to have been just a dialogue, end up turning into some late night debate. And then they did, after it, they did like 3 or 4 videos, you know, discussing the debate that we had. And they end up changing their doctrine with this. And this is him trying to explain that we don't deal with, we don't have eternal life. That we don't have uncorruptible bodies. That we won't live forever. That he's trying to say that this is Greek mythology and all of this foolishness, trying to deal with what I was telling them. And so now he's having to, you know, once they see me on the screen, and brothers knew me, and they was like, you could see, if I could go back, I can't go back because the brother's channel has been terminated. And that's another thing. I think the brother has, you know, the brother that he's beefing with, had the schism with, they're going through a lot as an organization right now. They did a video on some Jehovah Witnesses. They went to their convention. Them Jehovah Witnesses called the police and got some information. And I was telling my brother, I'm like, listen, man, them Jehovah Witnesses were moving like Agent Smith. Like, they were moving around. It was scary. I'm like, brother, this ain't the end of that. This ain't the end of that conversation. And then later, you know, I tried to go back to that video about a day or two later, and that video, that whole channel was terminated. Like YouTube they ain't like, oh, we gonna strike it and we gonna take the monetization away. No, it said the channel has been terminated. And you know, I've seen so I think they're going through a lot as an organization at the moment. And some of those stresses could have added to brothers saying certain things that they might have not have meant at that moment. And you know, maybe after a little season of cooling off, brothers can look back and maybe reconcile with that. But I'm gonna show you that, you know, brothers, doctrinally, there was some issues, there was some schisms in this thing too. Let me play this video here. This ain't number 5 minutes, y'all. I know we almost at 45 minutes. You hanging in there. I appreciate you hanging in there with us. But I want y'all to check this video here out.
Tripping.
You can tell it was a long time ago.
Now let's go back here. And see, I meant to play the Cardinal video later, but we got to deal with that also.
And that's the brother chief priest that he had to beef with at the altar. You see they necking. You know they brothers, but look at the body language.
Trust me, I'm gonna deal with that. I'm gonna play it all over again.
Forever, literally? No. So that shows you the concept of life that it's talking about here is not literally, again, a pulse, right? It's something, but Abraham.
Y'all look at Hasad. Look how Hasad look at her. Look at his face.
Oh. So that shows you the concept of life that it's talking about here is not literally, again, a pulse, right? It's something, but Abraham was a rich man. Abraham was having it his way in the earth. Abraham was winning wars. Abraham was getting spoiled. Abraham was a man of renown. Abraham had plenty babies. Life. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about women, children, riches, dominion, power. That's what we're talking about. That's life. That's what, if we keep the commandments, we will have. And if we all just keep doing it, it won't ever stop. It's everlasting.
It's burning.
That's what's going on here, right? Go ahead.
Let's go.
Man, hold on, y'all. Wait, look how he rolled his eyes, y'all. Let me see. I wish I could play the. Woo! Did y'all see it? Y'all ain't see the body language. Look at that. Look at that face. But watch him roll
keep
his
the commandments, we will have. And if we all just keep doing it, it won't ever stop. It's everlasting. That's what's going on here, right? Go ahead.
Woo! He don't believe that mess, man. He don't believe that. He don't believe. Y'all need to go back. Y'all need to take that video down. Take the video down and y'all get it together, man. Just like I just.
You see, I've been telling brothers with certain things is just problematic. Brother, you talk about that we don't get to live forever and eat from the tree of life. Like, what are you like? That ain't you talking about we get to die and keep coming back and die and come back and die. Man, take the video down. But we're not watching that for that. We're watching that to see the frustration in Hasad's face. And it was a few years ago. And you can see that doctrinally, I don't think he not believing this. Let me continue on.
It's had to do, brothers didn't follow the whole thing, they ain't, but I had to take it down.
Fair use. I don't know if I had to fair use my own video, but fair use.
Till we all on, one accord, and then we can really lay this thing out. Or brothers just ain't got no answers for what I bring out.
We all just keep doing it. It won't
it's just burning inside of him.
ever stop. It's everlasting. That's what's going on here, right? Go ahead. Let's go Sirach 30:4.
Sirach 30:4. This is another precept here you're gonna use again. We're gonna come back to the cardinal thing.
Hey, real quick, so nobody's asking questions. That means everybody got this.
See how it burned in him? It burned in him. He was turning them pages. Then he said, man, listen, man, if anybody y'all ain't got no questions, how y'all sitting here listening to this? Ain't nobody gonna say nothing. I'm gonna say something for you, Hasad. I got you. Anything y'all don't say. Listen, man, people ain't going nowhere. All right, just because you have some doctrinal things you got to come back off on and say, hey, man, we was wrong teaching that. Man, ain't nobody going nowhere. All right, but we got to be searching this thing out for truth. We got to be searching out for truth.
4.
Look, it's burning in him. He turning them pages, burning in him.
Hey, real quick, so nobody's asking questions. That means everybody got this totally down, right?
Y'all got this down?
Okay.
I think it's clear.
Assad crying out, man. Hey, y'all. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing. This joker is teaching this heretical doctrine and nobody gonna say nothing. Y'all all in agreement. Y'all got it. Y'all in agreement with this? Nobody gonna say. Okay. then Chief Priest says it's clear. He not even realizing Assad is kind of having a little outburst here. Like, man, it's clear. What do you mean?
Hey, real quick, so nobody's asking questions. That means everybody.
You gotta watch that thing burn a little bit.
Look, it's burning in him. He turning them pages, burning in him.
Hey, real quick, so nobody's asking questions. That means everybody got this totally down, right?
Y'all got this down?
Okay.
I think it's clear.
All right.
I think it's super clear.
He said, all right. Oh, man, I had watched it about 50 times, y'all.
Everybody got this totally down, right? Okay.
I think it's clear.
All right.
I think it's super.
I think it's clear, man. I think it's super clear.
That's why I said, all right. Okay. Y'all gonna go out here and teach this foolishness and, you gonna get yourselves embarrassed, man. I didn't hear nothing else. I'm sure don't nobody else really even know what did this even happen, man. But I had brothers call me, brothers was reaching out, man, Sakari embarrassed you and they did this and they did that, man, and blah, 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 blah. And brothers call me all kind of names and oh man, he a humble bug out, man. I like the brother. He a humble bug out. He wasn't prideful, but I just took the humility part. I said all praise. The brother seemed to have a little humility because it's not a competition for me. I'm not doing these videos trying to rebuke you, trying to take over your congregation and tell your members to come here. No, I'm not telling them to do that. I'm just telling you to correct it. You can correct the doctrine. Nobody got to go, man. We all know in part. You don't know everything. But brothers want to act like they all high and mighty and they all knowledge and they all know everything. And man, you setting yourself up.
I think it's clear, man. I think it's super clear.
Everybody got this totally down, right? Okay.
I think it's clear.
All right.
I think it's super clear. It only gets complicated when you come with Greek mythology. And when you're arguing from the Greek perspective, that's when things get complicated. I think it's all super clear, right? Go ahead.
Sirach 30:4. Though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead.
Right? His father is dead, but it's like his father is not dead. Why?
Woo, but it's like his father is not dead. Why? Why? Tell us why, Chief Priest.
For he hath left one behind him that is like himself.
He left one behind him that's like himself.
I thought, listen, now you saying that the kid, now you saying that, oh man, he died, he had a son and his son like him. Man, you know your kids ain't like you, man. Come on now.
Now, and brothers is trying to convince brothers that this is eternal life, that this is salvation. This is the heavenly salvation that Christ died and blotted out our sins to give us. This is the new Jerusalem. This is the holy city. Man, all of that. Brothers just saying all of that just spiritual and that ain't really true. It's going to be here. You know, you going to still get to drive your Tesla and you can go around and go, you know, this. Y'all still going to have to grow your food and
Come on now. I thought that the everlasting meaning you come back and you get to live again.
And that's the thing with the methodology. At first you saying you get to come back, you die, you come back. Now you saying the everlasting life, you living through your son. Like, come on, man.
And you come back. Oh, so now you saying that you living through your kids. Come on now. That's right. I also had a precept in there talking about, you know, having a multitude of kids is vanity, man. Like it you know, unprofitable kids, man. Your kids ain't gonna just because you had these kids, they gonna be like you, man. You may want them to be that. I remember Priest Bach did something heavy on that. But now it's you living again through your kids. It's not you coming back. It's you living through your kids. It's like, brother, you all over the place.
Is not dead. Why?
For he hath left one behind him that is like himself.
Oh, man. So, you know, I just wanted to show that, you know, doctrinally there probably was something going on. So I can't, you know, nobody can really call it at this point or even know that this video is what Hasad is saying it is. It's still kind of hard to believe until we hear the other side. And you know, prayerfully it don't turn into no giant thing like what we seen happen at Straightway, where, you know, all of these elders are getting involved and trying to discredit this individual and so forth. I think the best thing to do, if it is what it is, for Chief Priest just to move on. If whatever it is and it's unreconcilable and you feel like you just need to move on or y'all need some space, don't say nothing else. Don't address nothing else. Just leave it as it is and y'all move on. Again, I want to end with this about the schisms. These things happen. These splits happen. They've continued. We had this thing called, well, the camps, or rather, had this thing called Mashar Yasharallah. And this meant like the government of Israel. And they had certain leaders from particular camps, from larger camps, that were on this panel that they would all meet. We'll have this unity event, this summit, about 3 times a year, where all the camps would meet in a particular city or whatever. And you know, do like a mega camp and, you know, have events and stuff for, you know, meet and greets and concerts and all of this stuff. But also to talk about, also those elders would talk about certain judgments that happen within Israel, or if something did happen within the camp, or somebody, or like this thing with Hasad, if Hasad wanted to take this to some elders and get and try to sit these two brothers down to get counsel. I'm sure it's still elders that they can do that with, that they reverence enough to do that with, but I'm sure they won't do it with that particular group, because this particular group had a judgment that went forth because they held after Passover event at a nightclub that had bottle girls and champagne. Well, ain't nothing wrong with champagne, but they had the bottle girls half naked with the candles. They were in a worldly club. They was in the worldly, the night of Passover. They saying it's after their Passover, but it just wasn't a good look for Israel, and everybody was rebuking them. And a judgment came down from that Masharah Yasharallah. They didn't accept the judgment, and they left that particular panel. They like, man, we're no longer dealing with that Mashar Yasharallah. We're not dealing with them like that, and we're not accepting that judgment. I think it was some judgment like get off the internet, stay off the internet for a few months or something. And brothers like, man, we ain't finna do that. We ain't finna let you do that. And you know why I felt like I speculate why they did that? Because they were the biggest camp. With anytime the events, most of the events were filled. 70% of the event was Sakari. And after they left, that particular Marshal, that government of Israel thing has just dwindled into pretty much nothing. They still try to do them, but it's very few people. There's nothing like it was them first couple of years. And nobody made these people elders. They kind of put themselves in those positions and did that. But they were elders within their respectable organizations. But even with that, we seen this group schism and separate. We seen them separate from that, and sever themselves from that authority. And this what happens when you are the sole authority. Ain't nobody finna question what you were out here doing. Ain't nobody finna question you. And if you do question me, then you gotta hit the door. And that's what I feel is happening. Brother say it's doctrinal. Again, that could be very possible. Could be financial reasons too. You know what I'm saying? Could be some financial stuff going on. But who knows until all the stuff comes out. But I just want to, share the news with the flock. This probably will go viral. Hasad video probably will go viral. And he'll probably have to readdress it somehow. But I pray this thing was edifying. Y'all be blessed. We'll see y'all on the next one.